Hello ladies, and welcome to my kitchen and my little pasta factory where magic is gonna happen. So I hope you've had a fun day watching these beautiful mascara beauty artists share their talents and their stories. And I would just like to introduce myself. So I'm Jody. I have been a mascara beauty artist since April and a culinary teacher for 20 years. So except 20 years ago, it was called home economics. So you might have known that if you're of a certain age, where you had to sew an apron and learn how to scramble eggs. And so I just teach culinary right now, but every day I go to work and I'm just so thrilled to have the job I do, and then to connect with all these beautiful women with my love of mascara. So we're gonna get started. Honestly, if you ever see a pasta maker like this at a garage sale, just snatch it up, because honestly, it's like magic. When I teach this to my students, and like I said, I've taught for 20 years, I calculated it out, and it's probably about 6,000 students I've taught this to. I write on the board, flour plus egg equals magic. So that's all it's gonna take, and a little bit of salt. So here's the recipe. A little less than a cup of flour, and you actually just dump it right onto your counter. And this is the mountain, and now we need to make a well. So you hold your fingers like this and just make a little well, and your egg is gonna go right inside there. So the pasta is actually just formed roughly on your counter, and then the pasta machine is what does the rest of the work. So to that, you can add a little salt, and if you forget, it's not a big deal. Now, here's the part that takes some patience. You take a fork, and you're gonna scramble that egg, just like you're scrambling an egg, and then you want to slowly incorporate that flour. So this is what's gonna take a little bit of time, getting all of that flour incorporated. But the egg is going to really say how much flour it needs. So that's why you don't really measure this out. An egg can be larger or smaller, and then it might not take as much flour. So when I teach this, I always say to the kids, if you scramble too hard and the egg goes pouring out, we're all going to yell, "Boo, you broke your well." And it happens all the time. And you know what happens when we do something that doesn't quite work? You just fix it, and it's not a problem. So already you can see that flour is starting to be incorporated. And what you're looking for at this point is that you would be able to take that dough and put it in your hands and not have it just be a big old sticky mess. So this is not ready yet, but I can start to press some of that flour in. Get the rest of that off there. Pressing it in, incorporating the flour, and once I'm able to put it into my hands, then we move over to the machine, and that's where the magic happens. So, all right, so I've been teaching 20 years, and kids, they're kind of the same. They want to be heard. They want to have success, and I can't believe I get to teach them things that make them successful in the kitchen, and really these are life skills. So I hope you love cooking, because someone said to me the other day, cooking is just more than food. It really is how you show love. So I get that. All right, notice I can kind of put it together. No, I'm not squeezing it like Play-Doh, but kind of using my fingers a little gently so that I can put it through the pasta machine. So you might see this motion and know it's called kneading it. Now, if you don't have a pasta machine, go ahead, do it from scratch, and do it by hand, and you're just gonna be kneading it for a long time. So it's doable, but it's more work, so. But look at our dough, and kind of the little sign that it's ready to go into the machine. and the machine is gonna knead it for you, and then it's gonna cut it for you. So the way you know if it's ready to go in is if you squeeze it really hard and it kind of releases from your hands. So that's a good sign. If it's still sticky and you try to put it in your machine, you're gonna have a big old mess. All right, so there we go. Now some recipes, like if you were doing this like the proper way, you would let the dough rest for a while, because that like relaxes the gluten that you formed, and like I'm getting to be a teacher right now, but okay, so we'll move on to the pasta machine. Okay, moving on to the pasta machine. So there's gonna be two parts to a pasta machine. There is the roller part where it's gonna take the dough and it's gonna knead it. And then there's the cutter part. So I'll show you both of those, but we have to do the roller first. So what you're gonna do the first time the dough goes through, the rollers need to be at the widest part. And every pasta maker might be a little different in that the widest part for me is a number 1. It goes up to 7, and it goes skinnier and skinnier. Now, other pasta makers might have a different number of, might have a different number. So all we're gonna do is take this and crank. It's magic is happening. So the first time through, it's really rough, okay? It might even start to like separate out like that, but the job of the pasta maker is to make this all nice and smooth. We say smooth as a baby's butt. So typically I would put a little bit of flour on here if it's a little like moist, and fold it over once, and we keep it at that same, the same number 1. And this happens all the time. The handle comes out all the time because it goes into the cutter as well. Okay, look at second time through, and it's looking a little better. I can put it in, like I kind of alternate. When I fold it, I might put it this way, or the next time alternating those. And going through, like amazing, isn't it? Okay, I feel it's a little damp, so I'm gonna just brush a little bit of flour here, fold it in half, and keep sending it through. So this is really, like it's just so rewarding when you see like a machine that's so simplistic doing exactly what it should. Oh my gosh, that's kind of like mascara, makeup, when it's so simplistic. I didn't even know I was gonna make an analogy here, but it is. It's so simplistic, and it goes on your face, and every day, like I'm amazed at like that I found this makeup, and look at me. Okay, and you can look at yourself too. All right, keep folding and putting it through. Fold over, put it through. Now, because this needs to go straight into the boiling water, while you're doing this part, you should have a pot of water boiling so that once you cut it, it can go right into the water. Now you can dry the pasta, and that's fine, but I want to eat it tonight, so, all right. Notice how nice and stretchy and smooth. I wish you could feel this, but it's getting nice and smooth and elastic. That means thank you, pasta maker, for doing the kneading. And then what happens is it's gonna get like a little bit harder to crank because that dough is a little stiffer. And I don't know, maybe I've done it, maybe I've gone through 10 times and like it's practically done. So I'm just gonna go a couple more, get a workout. It is a teeny tiny bit sticky. So I wouldn't say sticky, I would just say it's like, it has this like moistness to it. And I know everybody hates that word, but all right, keep going. So all of my pasta makers, and I have like about 6 or I think I have 7 right now. I bought them for my students at school, so I just bring them there, and you know, you don't want 20 kids waiting around for one pasta maker. So I found them on eBay though, and I think the least expensive one I bought was for $5, and like shipping was maybe 20, but if you can get it for a steal like that, and honestly, the older ones are better. There are some newer ones I've seen. There's a few little like plastic parts in there, and like they tend to break. So the old ones are good. So, all right. And you might get a little pop like that. All right, I wish you could feel this, but smooth as a baby's butt. Now, the fun part comes where we have to stretch this. So if you were doing this by hand, knead by hand until it's smooth, and then you have to get a rolling pin and start rolling. And funny story, I was in a teacher's cooking club. Hello, Maria, if you're watching. And we're like, oh, we're gonna make pasta. And nobody had a pasta maker, and nobody thought they had a pasta maker. So we started doing it and rolling and rolling. And it's kind of difficult to roll that pasta out with a rolling pin. And then we get done and we're looking up pasta makers, and one of our teacher friends said, oh, I think I have one of those in my cupboard. We're like, Maria, why didn't you tell us? She didn't know, so she had got it a long time ago. So we forgave her, but she got out the pasta maker and liked doing it after that. So, all right, now we need to thin this. So this dial that I said was at 1 where the rollers are widest. We turn it to a 2, so they're getting closer together. And then we send it through here, but we do not fold it over. So this is where it's going to be stretched out, and one step at a time. So I'm now at 3. I mean, how lovely is that? Seriously, every time I do this, I get so emotional that it's like just such a fun thing. And because we have gotten so much gluten formation in there, you can lay it down like that and just keep going. It's not gonna fall apart. And I'm at the next number. I kind of lost track. And keep going. Like, seriously? Okay, look at what we just did. Do you see what I mean? Flour and egg is magic. So now it's time to cut this. So I'm just going to flour up the whole piece. And then here's more awesome magic. There are 2 different sizes here. So there's a fettuccine size, so it's a little thicker, and then there's an angel hair. And like, I'm gonna do both for you. So hold on a second. Okay, are you ready for this? So I cut my pasta in half so you could see like what's happening. And we'll start, hello. We'll start with the fettuccine. So you kind of gotta get it going. And you see it coming through here already. Gotta get a good angle here for you. I mean, seriously, look at how beautiful that is. Ooh and ah. And write yay in the comments if you are impressed. And the other impressive thing is the angel hair. And I wish you could feel this, because like the dough, it just is so gorgeous and beautiful. Get my thing in there. I mean, you tell me that's not magical. And this is just plain old flour and an egg and a little bit of mussel and this awesome pasta machine. So look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. All right, it's gonna go into the water. I have to move my camera. So it's gonna go in the water, and if you do the angel hair, it's gonna take about 2 to 3 minutes. And if you do the fettuccine, maybe 3 to 4 minutes, but you don't wanna overcook it. This pasta, you know, fresh pasta cooks really, really quickly. And if you cook it longer, it's gonna get mushy. So I'll be back. Through the magic of video starting and stopping, I went and made another batch. So you can see, this is all the fettuccine that I cut instead of cutting that in half. And it's going to go right in my salted boiling water. And you wanna make sure and kind of like loosen it up a little so it doesn't go in there and just like stick together. 3 to 4 minutes, and I will take it out and show you what I like to put on it, because I just like the freshness of the pasta and cheese. Make it really simple. So I'll be back. It's almost ready. What you'll find with this pasta too, it isn't as maybe chewy as the boxed kind, the dried pasta, and it does have the egg, so it's kind of like this light and pillowy texture in your mouth. So I was doing some calculations, and I've taught, this is my 20th year teaching. I teach maybe about 300 students roughly per year, and I try and teach every class. So when I was teaching sewing, I'm like, okay, let's stop. It's a day to make pasta. And they're like, why are we doing this? And then we do it, and they're like, they fall in love with cooking. So 20 years times 300 students is about 6,000 students. And if you have something like that every day you're excited about, and it doesn't matter if it was a year ago or 20 years ago, like, bravo to you. Like, just keep sharing what you love and do. Keep sharing what you love and do. And I think my pasta's ready. I got a little excited there. Okay, I'm gonna drain it. So look how beautiful this is. And I did not cut that piece of pasta in half. I love the really, really long noodles, and then it's fun to slurp them in. Like, gorgeous, isn't it? Okay, so a couple things you can do. A little bit of butter. Let's get this over here so you can kind of see what we're doing. Okay. All right, a little bit of butter. Kind of swirl it around there. You know, butter, salt, and pepper. Maybe that's all you want. Maybe you want a few little, like, of this really, like, fresh kind of Parmesan. Maybe you want Parmesan that you would grate on it. So I have a little grater. Just a little pillowy bit of Parmesan. Everything looks better when you put some green on the top as well. So I'm just gonna chop up a little bit of parsley. I'm gonna do salt and pepper first though. I love fresh cracked pepper. Your cheese is salty, so maybe you don't want that much salt, but a little bit of salt and a little bit of parsley on top. There you go, like magic. That egg and flour and a little bit of muscle work with the machine, and there you go, you have magic. If you are interested in trying something new, seriously, get a pasta maker. It's so impressive and fun, and the cleanup is more than making it, because you get all that flour stuff on the counter, but you're gonna love it. So I just am so thankful that you've stopped by to to learn a little bit about pasta making. And if you have questions, just feel free to write them in the comments. And of course I will love to hear what you think and your experiences. So tell me some tips. Like if you guys have some tips, I would love to hear that. So thanks so much for stopping in, and I hope you have just a great rest of your day and enjoyable time with all these beautiful mascara beauty artists. And thank you again. Bye now.